I want to thank the dreamers above all who are with us today for courageously stepping into the spotlight in a dark time. These are exceptionally, we use the word courageous rather loosely, but when you are fear of your freedom, courageous is the epitome of what these young men and women are all about. Some of them could be hiding, not trying to have attention focused on them. Instead, they come forward to dramatize the importance of continuing DACA. Many of us feared that if elected, President Trump would trample on the rights of immigrants. And now his administration is poised to end the deferred action for childhood arrival programs that we all know as DACA. DACA made it possible for 800,000 undocumented youth across America to come out of the shadows, to step into the light, to pursue their dreams without fear of deportation. These children were brought to America through no decision of their own. They know no other home. The only flag that they pledge allegiance to is that of the United States. The only national anthem they know is the Star-Spangled Banner. They pledge allegiance to no other country and to no other flag. They are not criminals, and they are not bad hombres or mujeres. They succeed in our schools. They play on our sports teams. They attend our colleges. They serve in our military, wearing the uniform of the United States, risking their lives. They obey our laws, and they love our country. They are, as General Kelly himself has said, model citizens. And it wasn't so long ago that President Trump spoke glowingly of America's dreamers. He said they were, quote, incredible kids, and he said he would treat them with heart. But ending DACA and stripping 800,000 young people, including over 22,000 right here in New Jersey, of their work permits, of their driver licenses, of their financial security, of their personal security, that's not heart, that's heartless. Ending this program creates a national emergency. It will shatter families. It will strike fear into our communities. And let's not forget that ending DACA would shrink New Jersey's economy by over $1.5 billion annually and reduce the U.S. economy by $460 billion over the next decade. So there is an economic imperative. Just shows what DACA recipients are contributing to our country. These numbers remind us that what we need is comprehensive immigration reform. That's what I've spent years fighting for. Smart reforms that honor our values, that allow immigrants to lawfully come forward, to pass background checks, to pay taxes, to ultimately earn a path towards citizenship. But when House Republicans blocked the comprehensive reforms, and I would add at the time, bipartisan reforms that I helped author and pass through the Senate, I refused to abandon America's dreamers. That's why we fought for DACA. We all remember the heart-wrenching stories. Kids applying for driver's licenses on their birthdays, only to find out they weren't citizens. Students opening college acceptance letters with pride, only to learn they couldn't receive financial aid. Veterans who served in our armed forces, knowing that they could be deported at any time. These are the stories that I shared with President Obama when I went to the White House to make the case for DACA. We worked for years to create this program, and I refuse to see it dismantled in the name of nativist fear-mongering. We will not stand for that possibility. How stupid, how cruel, how reckless is a policy that puts hardened criminals and law-abiding students in the same bucket for deportation. And when I say law-abiding, I really mean it. Dreamers put their faith in our government. They came out of the shadows. They registered with the Department of Homeland Security. They passed criminal background checks. They handed over personal details about themselves and their families to authorities that they have been forced to hide from their entire lives. They brought that all forth, believing that if they did the right thing, the government would do the right thing by them. Clearly, clearly a message from the government: come forth, go through the background check, do everything necessary, and if you pass all of that and you give this information, we will not use that information against you. DACA recipients went through all of this to get a 2-year renewable work permit and protection from deportation. Was their faith, their trust, their belief in the United States government's word a mistake? That's the very message President Trump will send if he ends DACA. A message that says whether you're selling drugs in our streets or earning A's in our classrooms, everyone is fair game for deportation. No one is safe, not even children who have called America home for their whole lives. That's not law and order. That's fear and chaos. There's no way to end this. Ending DACA will cast a dark shadow of fear over our communities. That's why now more than ever, we must be the light. We must stand together and send a message to every elected official at every level of government that we say no to mass deportations, that we say no to anti-immigrant bigotry, that we say no to deporting dreamers. And my Republican colleagues especially need to hear it. They need to know how anti-American their anti-immigrant policies have become. Now is not the time to wait for those pushing a white nationalist anti-immigrant agenda to come to their senses. Now is the time for all of us to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Let me close by remembering that on these very steps in 1983, Rosa Parks was given an honorary degree by then New Jersey, by NJ, New Jersey City University, and she was obviously a trailblazer, someone who ultimately took the fight in civil rights and said, I won't sit in the back of the bus, I won't be oppressed, and I will stand for my rights. So, remembering that moment in history from 1983, let me close with a message to the 800,000 dreamers that DACA helped bring out of the shadows. Stay strong. You are not alone. Your fear is real, but so is your resilience. You have a future in this country, and I believe this is the civil rights issue of our time. History will record this moment, and history is on our side. We will not let this administration tear the diverse fabric of our nation into shreds. We will not let hate win. We will fight for smart immigration policies that put families first and that harnesses the talents of all of these young people, and to honor the model that has defined America from the start. E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you for standing with us, and thank you for your fight. We're here today to fight. We're here because there is another attack coming out of our White House, and make no mistake, the same ideology that motivated men to march with torches in Charlottesville is motivating this attack on our immigrant youth, and we cannot afford to stand by and watch. We have to stand up and we have to fight. I'm here today with dozens of dreamers, undocumented students, documented students from around the state. 800,000 lives are now on the line. These are lives of people who have lived here most of their lives. They are students, they are workers, they are nurses, they are teachers, they own homes, they drive cars, they have families here, and they are here to stay.
I was born in El Salvador 17 years ago, and just after 2 years, I was brought here to the United States. So while my younger sister and my younger brother are United States citizens, my mother, my older sister, and I are not. I became DACA eligible 2 years ago, and it was a moment where I felt recognized and I felt safe. I am currently in the process of applying for college. So for me, DACA's end threatens the security I was previously promised when applying to college and applying for work. I now wonder if I will ever be able to become the journalist or the lawyer that I've always wanted to become. So I will fight for DACA, and I won't leave until we've won.
Yes.
We don't know if DACA will be revoked this afternoon, or tomorrow, or next week, or not at all. I think of those families like my own whose food on the table depends on the future of my DACA. I think of the families who will be separated, who have already been separated. I think of those students who are close to finishing their careers like myself. I think of those undocumented people who are going back in the shadows because of fear of deportation. I think of their journey to self-liberation and what it will mean for each and every one of them moving forward. If my DACA is revoked, I will be thrown into the deportation line along with 800,000 other young people throughout the country. Brothers and sisters, this is home and we are here to stay. I will fight for DACA. I won't leave until we've won. And now the question is, what are you going to do for fight for us?
To Senator Menendez, I can't speak volumes about this gentleman. He is a true champion, a true hero, and a fighter. I am proud to have come from the same city that he grew up in. We know what this fight is about. We know how important it is. We know what it is about dreamers, and you know what it is about an American dream, that we all should be afforded that ability. Courage. We talk a lot about courage, and courage is what you just saw by these two young ladies coming out and talking about what their aspirations and how important it is for the education that in New Jersey we have afforded to them, and then we want to make sure that these bright minds stay here in New Jersey and they thrive. So we need to make sure DACA doesn't go away, and with Senator Menendez championing this, and all of us here expressing how important to make sure that the DREAM Act is something that gets put in place. We need to make sure there's a path to be permanent residents and a path to citizenship, because it's the right thing. We should all be able to live that American dream. This country was made of immigrants, and we cannot forget that. Senator Menendez, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do every day for us in the U.S. Senate. Thank you for being a leader. Thank you for being our role model. Thank you.